Anything wrong? What have we done wrong? Anything?
I don't know, but we're pretty pathetic.
We haven't even asked a question. We're getting escorted out by the thought police. It's Big Dukes and Big Andy checking in here at Sydney University. We've got the Sydney Socialism Conference on today, and these two privileged straight white males are going to go and check it out. Are you excited, Anders?
I'm excited. We're heading into hostile territory, so it's going to be a fun day, I reckon.
I'm hoping we can actually learn something. My goal is we're going to go in, listen, maybe ask a couple questions, meet a few people there, be challenged intellectually, and I'm actually coming in with quite good intentions.
Yeah, let's make some friends, I reckon.
We'll make some friends. We're going to make the world a better place today. Anyway, we're going to bring you along for the ride, so let us know what you think. If you like this type of content, go ahead and smash that like button, click subscribe. You know the deal. Basically, we went to the first talk. It was about the Hong Kong protests against China, and it was kind of interesting because they totally supported the Hong Kong protesters. And the reason why that's funny is because they were protesting against the socialist government in China. And they were protesting, and the rhetoric that was used was a lot about like human rights and democracy and kind of freedom of the people, all things which you don't see very much of in socialist countries, and it almost seemed like they were kind of libertarian the way they were arguing. And I wanted to ask them a question about it at the end, but I had my hand up for quite a long time, but I didn't get chosen. I think I was exuding too much BDE, too much straight white male energy. But anyway, we'll hopefully bring some footage to you, and hopefully there'll be some opportunities to ask them some questions, which I think is where a lot of the interest will be. We've got the rise of the far right next, so that I'm sure will be a really interesting talk about Nazis and white supremacists and stuff in Australia, and then after we have the Socialism 101 Q&A. So we're going to really find out what socialism is about, because it's obviously not all the socialist countries that we see around the world. It's obviously something else. We're just outside. We just finished filming that last clip. We just got approached by the seckies, by the heavies.
Said how you had tonight, mate?
Some hired muscle almost didn't let us in. So no filming strictly inside the conference. We are outside the conference. We weren't breaking any rules. Allowed to see our proof of purchase, etc. And if we film inside, we might get kicked out. We'll see how we go. I want to be able to ask a few questions and have some healthy debate, as they say. It's funny, the Secchi also had a man bun with some slightly ginger hair, so there was a bit of man bun competition going on, but wave check. I think I came out on top.
Who has the freshest drip? So we just went to a panel that talked on the alt-right. I'm still not sure what the alt-right is, which is a little bit concerning. We had a security member of the security detail follow us in there, and then tagged out to the big ginge, to Doogie C, but probably 6'7", tagged in, so he had his eye on us for that session.
So we had the session on how do you combat the rise of the alt-right, and everybody in there genuinely believes that the whole Western world has a genuine Nazi problem, that there are real fascists who want to exterminate people based on the colour of their skin in there. And so they're committed to being anti-fascist and saving those people and promoting a world based on unity. And the session started off with a talk about the Christchurch shooter and kind of that ideology and how we should kind of deal with that. And in that sense, that was kind of I guess almost the definition of like the white supremacy, the fascism, the Nazi stuff is kind of the Christchurch guy. And that's like kind of fair. Like I think we should be talking, like if there's an ideology which motivates someone to go and kill like 50 or 60 people to make like a political point, that's something we should talk about and analyse and see what happened and fight against, right? The problem is that they then took those labels of like Nazi, fascist, white supremacist, and applied it to like a whole lot of quite mainstream people. Like they called like Milo Yiannopoulos like a Nazi. They called Tommy Robinson a Nazi. Like even Jordan Peterson's name got mentioned. A lot of guys who are actually hated by the real kind of alt-right and maybe you'd even say white supremacists, I don't know. And the interesting thing there was that they said, well, we stand in solidarity with the anti-fascist violence. Sometimes you need to engage Nazis and fascists on the street with violence, with street fighting tactics, etc. And I again raised my hand. I was probably had my hand up the whole time, but I didn't get my question didn't get answered, which is like, well, first of all, what's the definition of a Nazi or a fascist or a white supremacist? And secondly, who gets to decide, right? Who gets to decide? Because those are all important questions. Because if you had that on the other side of the political spectrum, where a bunch of people say, look, we have to defend against communists and radical people on the left, and we're just going to have to combat them in violence, like they wouldn't be very happy about that. And the truth is, the people on the far right would probably beat the living daylights out of the people that were in that conference, except for the 6'7" man bun who keeps following us around. It's like they're all like 20-something years old, except they believe that they understand the whole world and they know, they're so right of themselves that they know that violence in their cause is justified. And it's like, if you multiplied that out across the whole political spectrum, the whole place would, we wouldn't be able to live in a nice place. Like it would be a disgusting society that we'd end up living in, and it's quite dangerous. I mean, Andy mentioned it. So this lady said, well, what do we do about these guys? And this other guy, this old bloke, could have been like 80, said, well, what we do about the right to Nazis is we kill them. And everyone kind of had a chuckle in there because it's pretty funny. The guy's like, no, I'm serious. They kill people, like we need to kill them. And it's like that whole group of people inside that room believe that there are Nazis out there trying to exterminate like Muslims or Jews or whoever they say we need to go and beat them up to show them that they're not welcome here. And it's like, it's quite dangerous and it's a bit scary. It's blowing my mind. I'd like to see what the Chancellor, or what do you call him, Vice Chancellor Michael Spence has to say about it, because it's some pretty fucked up stuff going on in there. Because the truth is that these guys don't know the answers, and I don't know the answers, and the way we find the answers is actually by hearing everyone else's opinion and trying to make the best judgment we can. And saying that we have all the right answers, such that all the other answers need to be dealt with violently, is very, very dangerous, and one that I don't support.
We're being escorted out of the venue. We haven't done anything, but we're allegedly right-wing activists. So we're getting the old escort.
We're real dangerous.
Courtesy of the socialist event. Anything wrong? What have we done wrong? Anything?
I don't know, but we're pretty pathetic.
We haven't even asked a question. We're getting escorted out by the thought police.
So Dukes and I just got kicked out of the Socialism Sydney Conference.
Take off your hat.
Are we going
Wave check.
Wave check. Do I look better with the hat off?
Yeah, you look sweet.
We rolling?
Yeah.
So Dukes and I just got kicked out of the University of Sydney Socialist Conference, whatever it was, because we're right-wing activists. It's come to their attention. So obviously it's a little bit disappointing that we didn't even ask a question, talk to anyone in a rude way. We had a couple of like interesting conversations with people where we were just discussing thought, like really civil. Obviously, like it just wasn't taken the right way, maybe, or maybe they just want to create this echo chamber where they're so righteous and they know they're right, and no other people who even provide and bring up other opinions, which we didn't even do. We can't be in their safe space because we're a danger. So I just like to reiterate, we got kicked out, not asking a question. We didn't interrupt anyone, we weren't rude, but this is what the socialists will do to you. So, and if you want to tell us why socialism is actually good and engage in a discussion, then go ahead, please.
We'll see you on the next adventure. Peace out. Wave check.